Regular AR Spanish verbs por se la vi. Look at this verb in English, to be. Notice that the forms that we use that go with I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they are special. None of them look like to be. So you'd say I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, and they are. Again, none of those forms, am, are, is, look like to be at all, but they're all forms of to be. We've already looked at the verb ser. Let's just review it. Yo soy, usted es, él es, ella es, nosotros somos, nosotras somos, ustedes son, ellos son, ellas son. Now we've come to the largest group of verbs in Spanish. Those are the verbs that are regular, that end in are, are. First, when you want to conjugate verbs that end in are, that are regular, you remove the are from the verb. And then you add these endings. When you have yo, you're going to replace the are with o. Usted is going to end with a. Él is going to end with a. Ella will end with a. Nosotros will end with amos. Nosotras also will end with amos. Ustedes will end with an. Ellos ends with an, and ellas will end with an as well. Now, that previous slide didn't make much sense, perhaps, but let's take a look at how it works with the real verb ayudar. Ayudar means to help, so we're going to be able to use this a lot. Take a look. You're going to remove the are that you see written in green, and you're going to add the appropriate endings onto what you have left after you remove the are. And you get yo ayudo, usted ayuda, él ayuda, ella ayuda, nosotros ayudamos, nosotras ayudamos, ellos ayudan, ellas ayudan. And here's how they look when they're all together. Ayudar. Notice that the parts in blue are the parts that you're going to say the loudest in the verb. A lot of times when you're conjugating a verb and you're just learning the verb for the first time, you might get all excited about getting the right ending. But notice which part you're supposed to say the loudest. It's the part that you see in blue. Ayudar. Yo ayudo. Usted ayuda. Él ayuda. Ella ayuda. Nosotros ayudamos. Nosotras ayudamos. Ustedes ayudan. Ellos ayudan. Ellas ayudan. So here we have a verb trabajar, which means to work, and you want to conjugate it correctly. You're going to need to remember what letter goes in the blanks, okay? So if you see one blank, that means only one letter goes there. If you see 4 blanks, you have, of course, 4 letters to put in them. Figure that out, and then see if you get the same answers as I do. Yo trabajo, usted trabaja, él trabaja, ella trabaja, nosotros trabajamos, nosotras trabajamos, ustedes trabajan, ellos trabajan, ellas trabajan. Okay, here's a bunch of verbs that end with a. They're all regular. So what I'd like you to do is, when I tell you, click on the slide and replace the AR ending with the right ending that goes with the subject that I put in parentheses. Let's do the very first one so you figure it out. Yo llevo. So you're going to take the AR off and replace it with O. Here are the answers to the previous slide. Yo llevo, usted alquila, él camina, ella descansa, nosotros escuchamos, nosotras limpiamos, ustedes miran, ellos regresan, ellas toman. Sometimes you don't have just a simple subject pronoun like yo, usted, él, ella, etc. So in these examples, we don't have a simple pronoun. we have groups or we have nouns that take the place of those pronouns. Let's take a look at the very first one. El director y yo. Then you're supposed to put in the verb form. And then finally, los planes, which means the plans. So, el director y yo. I'm in the group. I can tell that because of yo. But also, another person's in the group. And that's el director. El director y yo. So if I were to say the director and I, that would be another way of saying we. And in Spanish, we could be said nosotros. So, el director y yo is the same as nosotros. Look at the verb. You know that you're supposed to take off the AR and replace it with amos. So it becomes el director y yo cambiamos los planes. Try the other three, see how you do, and then go to the next slide. Okay, so here you have it. El director y yo cambiamos los planes. Then I put at the end nosotros in parentheses because that is the same as el director y yo. El secretario y la recepcionista llegan temprano. El secretario y la recepcionista would be the same as saying ellos. La médica necesita café. La médica would be a female doctor. And she needs coffee. La médica would be the same as ella. La enfermera y usted solicitan un puesto. So, the nurse and you. In other words, it's kind of like you, both of you. Solicitan un puesto, are applying for a job. Notice that la enfermera y usted would be the same as ustedes. Adiós. C'est la vie 2020.